Welcome to the show, folks. I know that you're expecting me to do it back at the studio, but power outage because of the cold weather. So I guess what we're going to have to do is just well on this together because of the big cold weather. But the only one we're going to tell you how it's starting in case you guys missed a few episodes last week. It's a bit later, but first, another thing, it's the latest in COVID-19. So, sorry about the lighting. New Essex County, 37,074 plus 24, which I think brings us up to 38,000. I don't have the proper knowledge. If I have my cards with me, then maybe one heck of a show. The deaths, 684 plus 1, which now brings us to 685. State of Texas, 2.58 million plus 36.1. 47,650, that's plus 62, which brings us up to over 41,700 or something, I can't be sure. None have recovered in Essex County, nor in the state of Texas. United States, 27.9 million. 64.36 million. 64,736 added up to the 27,490,000 plus 1,707. That's total cases. 110 plus 192,000, 61.8 million. 2.43 million, 58.92. So that's the latest numbers, and I am still gonna brag about y'all needing tips. Y'all need to understand that just because you're going through the cold weather does that mean you have to worry about the virus. You know, this virus is still happening, and if you don't want to hear from me, you can hear from me, you can hear from experts out there, but they are telling you this is serious, unlike the cold weather. I mean, it's been colder down in Michigan and all the other places, but there's nothing more I can tell you, but this virus is a real thing, and so in regards to vaccines, you need to follow these tips like I've been telling you a lot of times. That is, you need to start wearing your mask every now and then. It has to be at the nose, not down here, nor down there. It has to be at the bridge of the nose. Avoid large gatherings a lot of times. I mean, if you're at church, the exception is that the only exception is that you cannot wear a mask when you're singing and stuff. But if the only tip I have is if you're not singing or if they're talking or whatever, you put it back on. You stand and they start to sing or whatever, then you can take it off. But avoid those large guys like at the church because they have large gatherings and last week before all this, I told you I went to, where was it? Rock City Church, and they never followed those safety protocols. All they just did was just let it happen. I mean, they may be called Rock City Church, but they never follow social distancing guidelines. That's my problem. Six feet apart. You always need to be 6 feet apart, as always, because of this. And I don't need to tell you, this is very serious here. And there's nothing more I can tell you except that masks are important, social distancing point. Avoid those large gatherings. Just avoid it. That's your choice. If you're under 10 years old or have a medical condition, then that's where you cannot be wearing those masks. Trust me, it's very important. If they tell you where's your mask and you have a medical condition and they still let you ask you to wear masks, and just follow those rules. Don't be sitting there arguing with them saying, like, oh my goodness, like, don't be arguing with them, starting fights and all that stuff. We need to be safe. That's all that matters. And with everything that's going on, because of everything that's happening, I mean, we've got people going wherever they go. I mean, roads have been closed. Everything has been happening, and so far, nothing's probably been done about it. What I really can tell you is that they're trying everything possible to make sure everything goes fine. But this virus spreads, the cold weather spreads, it's the big freeze here, and between all this, we have to make sure that we're on our guard and making sure that we know what we're doing. Okay, coming up, we'll leave you the very latest on the weather, and especially something that happened in the Bluff where there was a pipe leak. We're going to tell you all about that, what the mayor is doing to fix that, and give you the very latest on power updates after the break. Welcome back, everyone. We're focusing on this cold weather because last week, as I told you about, there's going to be a big freeze coming here. That means you need to stay bundled up, stay warm clothing, and throughout a few episodes of Give Me a Break last week, I talked to you guys about how to make sure that you're safe from all these, from covering your pipes to making sure that you're following the power safety instructions. But as it turns out, the power has been out for at least 48 hours. I mean, the power went out on a couple days ago at 3 a.m. and about hours later the power was back on in some states. But a lot of people are still without power, and there's water bills have been happening. But for those of you in some states or some countries, you may be like, "What is a water boil?" Well, it's also called like a water boiling advisory, water boiling, boil water warning, boil water order, or boil order. Public health advisory directive issued by governmental health authorities to consumers when drinking water. I mean, and if you want to know which states are, I mean, there's some states here in Corpus and the Flat Bluff area. I mean, the source of the Flat Bluff. I mean, if you went to the Bluff, there is a source. I now know where it is. The source of that water boil was taken somewhere at the old in the Flat Bluff area, right by the bus stop at Jack in the Box. Thanks to someone from a Facebook group, and they're gonna fix that leak. It could take hours, days to get it fixed, but we should be able to get back to our normal lives. But until then, I mean, we don't know what's gonna be happening. And for those who might be asking, what is a water boil advisory? Well, if your local health authority issue a water boil advisory, you should use bottled water or tap water because your community's water could be contaminated with germs that can make you sick. But the standard recommendation can use this advice. Use bottled or boiled water for drinking and to prepare cooked food. If bottled water is not available, full water to boil for a minute, then allow it to cool before using it. You can also use tap water. You can also boil tap water if it's filtered. Do not use water from any appliance into your water line. such as ice and water from a refrigerator, because that ice could be contaminated. I'm not going to go into that breastfeeding stuff because that is TMI for all the things, but I really want to stick to this boil. In many situations, use tap water and soap to wash hands. Just follow the guidelines for the local health department. And what if I have to shower? Be careful of swallowing water when bathing or showering. Use caution when bathing babies and young children. Consider giving them a sponge bath to reduce the chance of them swallowing water. Brush your teeth with boiled or boiled water. Do not use untreated tap water. Because untreated tap water can make you sick. It is safe to wash clothes as usual. Be caring for the pets. There are some states right now that are on that water boil advisory. Here in Texas, Falfurrias, New Western County, we're all on those water boils. And we have to do whatever it takes. If you're going to use that water, just use tap water. Bottled water, all depends on if you can buy it or afford it or not. But, we have to do whatever it takes to make sure that the water gets back and everything goes back smoothly. And my work is, they opened yesterday. And then they're going to close again. They're sending millions of people out to Rod Field. And I'm sitting there like, okay, what's the big deal? Padre and every thing is being under notice. St. Paul, St. Pat's, Orange Grove, Alice, Portland. Water main terms of 10:30. Sin Tap, Padre Island. There's a full list. I'm not going to go into it because I'm under a half hour. But don't drink the water. If it's safe to use, it's safe to use, because even if they fix the leak, they still have to test it, and that takes 18 hours. Even if they fix it, they still have to fix it. They still have to test it. So it goes through a process. If you fix the water that's in it, you still have to test it to make sure it's safe to use. If it's not safe, don't drink it. Don't drink that water. Just make sure you follow those guidelines. Just try to make sure. We're under the same boat here. And now a couple days ago, the RTA was suspending buses because of those icy roads. From a couple days ago, the RTA posted they're going to be postponing rides because of this. So do not necessarily continue power outages and runner restraints. They will remain suspended on Thursday, and will provide you an update when service will resume tomorrow. So hopefully tomorrow everything will smooth out. Bus rides will happen, and we can try to get people back on the buses, back to wherever they need to be, and back to my work. Because we're not done yet, because my work is closed because of all this. I don't have an answer, because I just got started. But there will be updates from now on, and I'll continue to update you if anything happens. I'll try to. If I can't, well, it'll have to be till next week. But at least I'm trying. Alright. There's going to be more going to be right when we come back. Stay tuned. Look, you guys, with all this cold weather happening, everyone's rushing to the stores to get whatever they need. Like food, water, shelter. This happened with hurricanes and COVID. Back with the hurricanes happening, everyone had to get their stuff paid for and go. Fighting, pushing and shoving, and all that kind of stuff. It happened once with hurricanes. It happened during COVID. Now it's happening because of the cold weather. And now people, in this case, and in this case here, I would say yeah, basically, I'd say basically, everyone just wants to get what they want because they're trying to rush over and get to the nearest. I mean, there are like warm shelters out there. And now the mayor of Corpus Christi is saying they're trying to investigate this. They shouldn't have to look no further because of one post. Send that to the mayor, find out tell them when they're going to fix it, and they'll fix it and test it. It's only going to be for like 18 hours. It only takes about a day. I mean, it takes a day to get your DNA tested. It takes a day or hours to get your laboratory test done. It takes minutes to check the towel buckets to make sure you have the right thing. And it takes days. It takes days, weeks, months. It takes time. Time is what you need. Without time, we want to know what time it is. I mean, that's what it's all about. So my advice, if you're looking for everything that, what's happening here, everyone's getting their damn groceries and they're turning to small shops. I would play the report, but I can't even show it on there because of issues. But they're turning to small stores to get like meat for their steaks and stuff. Like, okay, but you would want to fight over this? I mean, you might as well be kicked out for fighting. There shouldn't be any fights happening at any store or whatever. But I can tell you this, we are all in this together. We're trying as hard as we can to make sure that you know what you're doing. I mean, my work was closed for a few days because one, they were closed because of the weather. Two, they opened back up. And I was going to go yesterday, but I forgot my damn shoes. And speaking of that, when you return, we're going to tell you what kind of shoes you need for restaurant work. And you may be surprised. Don't go away. Okay. Subject of work, I mean, we're talking about fast food restaurants here. I mean, if you're working at a fast food restaurant, you need to know that dress code. That dress code simply states, like, if you work at a fast food restaurant, they should tell you that, for starters, you need to make sure that you have a good uniform. They supply the uniforms. You have an apron. Mandate, I'll tell you that in a second. Black pants and non-slip black shoes, leather shoes. So that's what our last subject is going to be on. And these things are really important. It's really important because of but are non-substitutes required? General rule. Employers can require employees to wear certain types of general street clothing and require employees to bear the expense there's lots of ways you can buy them. You can buy them in Walmart, but some of them are really expensive. The ones I got for like 60-something bucks. Well, I mean, not 60, I mean 30-something bucks. It may be a good price, but that's what I'm risking for. Okay. You need slip-resistant shoes for work. They require those because they don't want any accidents happen. So when they went through the process, they decided, okay, we'll have them wearing slip-resistant shoes. That helps. And aprons. Gosh, they're required. You know why aprons need to be mandated at work or mandated at work? I mean, I got this from one of my coworkers because of stains. Like, if stuff gets on you. If stuff gets on you, like food stains get on you, that's why there's aprons for. I mean, you can wash it again. You can use it again. I mean, if you haven't got a spare apron, then you should ask one of your coworkers, and they'll help you out. But the other problems I have with them is, because I learned about this last week before this craziness, was that aprons can cause stains. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm not gonna name names here, but one of the employees, let's call him Joey. Joey told me that the aprons cause stains. I want to know if it's true. So I looked at the apron and it's like, no mystery stains there. And I'm saying to myself, I gotta tell one of my coworkers, I gotta tell the manager about this, and if I told the manager about this, she'll probably hit me. And I don't want to press assault charges, but if I didn't have a choice, I didn't want to tell her and take that risk. I mean, she says, well, that's why these stains are causing, that's why they're short like that. I mean, the stains happen from wearing aprons. I mean, how do you know if aprons can cause stains? I mean, they don't cause stains. They're trying to protect you, but if your apron is stained, you need to let your manager know beforehand, and then ask the makers about it. Or if supervisors maintain that your employee wears aprons, you need to enforce that policy immediately. No excuses or exceptions. And I'm being really fair about this. I'm doing everything in my power to help you and all the others around you, but if people are just going to be like, I don't know, trying to avoid these situations like this, like truancy. I mean, speaking of this cold weather, the schools are closing down because it's big weather and water boils, but we don't know when they're going to be back up. We don't know if they'll be back up and running next week, but we'll know. We'll know until then. Trust me. When it's all, I mean, it's just going to be a couple days until after that, it's just going to be smooth sailing. It's just going to be Thursday and Friday. So after Thursday and Friday, and Friday, everything's going to smooth out, and we should be getting back to normal. Power's back on, no more water boils, none of that. We're back to our normal lives. We're back to doing everything we want to do. We're back to school, sports, whatever. And speaking of that cold weather, I mean, they're canceling all sports. I can't really tell because we're out of time. I'm going to save that part for either Friday or Saturday until I can get back to my original headquarters. So until then, that's all visitation. Give me a break Wednesday, going to Thursday. I'll see you when I see you. If I can't do an episode, then I guess I'm screwed. Have a good night, everyone. I'll see you when I see you. That's the best I could say. Good night. Keep warm. Stay safe. Take care of yourself and each other. Good night.